Good evening, my name is Tyler Tahasik, and this is my review on the video we just watched after the Mayflower. So, what I gather from this short clip is that Mosaic, I believe, no, Massasoit. Massasoit was the leader of these Indian lands, and he never felt that there was a need to sell the land for the first 20 years of this trade that they had with the English. This trade that they had with the English was that he would supply beaver skins and other commodities for the English in order for him to keep his land. Well, the beaver skins ran short, so therefore he wasn't able to hold up his end of the deal, and the English took his land, which still isn't okay because he shouldn't have to offer commodities to somebody else in order to keep his own land. And whenever the English wanted to give him the money for this land, he actually wanted to decline it so that way he could keep the land, and they just ended up taking it anyway. And Pequot, which is the most powerful Indian Confederacy in the area, was then taken over and destroyed by the different colonies. They killed hundreds of men, women, and children, and after a while, Massasoit traveled to Massachusetts Bay so that way he could try to reestablish this trade and make them allies again, become friends with them again. Now, a little bit of time passes, and the Pequot War eventually, it just sends the people of the Indian colony into a state of fear. I mean, they're afraid for their lives. They're afraid that their land is going to be taken, and they were once in a state of dominance, and now they are in this state of fear, this state of vulnerability. And then Massasoit's son comes along, Philip, which used to be called Metacon, and he knew nothing of a world but English and Indians getting along and being friends. Well, some time passes, and the English get greedy. They want to take everything that the Indians have worked for, specifically Josiah. I believe he called them something heathens or something of the sort. But Josiah Winslow, the leader of the English, he just wanted to take over everything. And there was a point in time, this is one of the things that really baffled me the most, was that he just wanted to convert all of the Indians to believe in his religion, which was Christianity. And they had their own gods that they believed in. And then if you didn't have proof that you had converted to Christianity, they would just begin to start taking more and more land. And all Massasoit wanted through any of this was peace with the English, but they didn't want that. So one of the another thing that really stood out to me was the fact that they provided health care as a long-term ploy in order to take the land and use that for leverage once the people did die. And after this, Philip begins to take a stand in 1671, I believe, and he pretty much says that he's not going to have this for his people. So, long story short, Winslow provokes the war because he wants to hop on any opportunity there is to completely eliminate this race of people. So, he was told by I believe it was the Rhode Island governor, that he had no chance and his army was too small. So Philip, instead of taking that as a form of a warning, like, hey man, don't do this, he turns around and he goes to start building allies with other tribes, other Indian tribes. So that way he could in fact, begin war with the English. And then he's actually not the one that started the war. The English are the ones that started the war by killing his secretary and then blaming it on other Indians. So, colonists banish the English win the war, right? Even though he went to go get these other allies, they were just more powerful, and they ended up winning the war. Now, towards the end of that, colonists were starting to banish even Christian Indians, people that they did convert, that lived in the praying towns when the winter came. They put them on what they called Deer Island, which was super cold, and then 300 to 400 ultimately died due to lack of food and starvation. Now, the English in the war, they beat Philip and they beat the other Indians, right? And the remaining Indians who did live, this is absolutely nuts, were sold into slavery in the West Indies. So Philip is aware that the war is lost, and him being a man of the culture that he is, he retreats back home knowing where he's going to die, right? He knows that they're going to kill him, so he wants to die on the land of which he came from. Now, he knew he was going to die, but I don't know if he knew he was going to die in this manner. They actually dismembered him and spread him across different colonies, each corner of the different colonies, and they put his head on a stick and they marched it into town. And not only did they march the head into town, they left it on a stake for 20 years as a warning that, hey, we are the English, we are in charge, you better not mess with us. And it was just completely ridiculous. I mean, the fact that people were able to treat other human beings like this, and just the self-centeredness blows my mind. So, yep, that's my take on After the Mayflower.